What's up, everybody? It is Ben from the Ben and Bev channel. We are finally here after a bit of a delay because it has been a busy week for me. Short review of Loki, Season 2, Episode 5, Science Fiction. Last week's episode ended in the most WTF moment in the entirety of the Loki series, as well as a lot of stuff in the cinematic universe Marvel's been putting out recently. I thought it was a wild ending to the show, and it left me with my jaw open, no idea where to go. Episode 5 picks up in a similar way. The entire world is defragmenting. Everything that we know in every single timeline is falling apart at the seam. Big bowl of spaghetti noodles, you'll get that if you've seen it. Otherwise, I'm trying to avoid spoilers here, even though it is really hard to do with the plot points we're talking about. Loki's time slipping picks up once again, and it brings him to all of these different timelines where our variants were plucked from. None of them know who he is, and he has to convince them all to come with him to try and save the sacred timeline. A wild episode. I think the cinematic flair and direction that Benson and Moorhead are known for was most prominent in this episode so far. The way that the universe falls apart, as well as a particular scene near the end involving a spinning Velvet Underground record, was absolutely wild and just so Benson and Moorhead. Atmospheric, trippy, weird, and fits perfectly in with this plot line. This week, all of the acting was great as always. The effects were outstanding. Natalie Holt's score is getting more and more prominent each episode. Great composer. Everything I've heard from her, I've absolutely adored. It's on a playlist somewhere. And the way it twists the motifs into the action as we meet all of these original personas of our characters, whether that's Mobius or B-15, great to see what they were originally up to, especially with how different some of them are and how absolutely awesome some of our expectations were for them. My one complaint actually with this season, but also with this episode, is that Umi Mosaku's B-15 was a little bit underused, especially in this section. You just see a couple brief moments with her past life, and I don't know, I really enjoy her character, and I feel like she just hasn't been as prominent in this season, but with everything else going on and the introduction of new characters and bigger roles for other characters as well, totally understand. Another huge highlight for this episode is the hero arc for Loki continuing when he runs into Sylvie. They get to have that discussion, one about choice and letting people live to find out if they can die, and it takes a lot of turns when you realize this is a lot more personal for Loki than just saving the world. It's not that hero arc. He just has this attachment to people that he's not used to having, this kinship, and to see the emotion on his face when he realizes that he actually cares about people, it just sells the hero arc for him so far in this series. I absolutely love those moments, and I love the way that it resolved and had to do with the time slipping and the powers, etc. Once again, not trying to give away too much here. Final big highlight for me would be Obi. His original timeline life, which I cannot even talk about because of the spoilerness, is phenomenal. He's great as the character in his real life, and he's great with that quirky energy trying to figure out how to get to that version of himself in the TVA. He is the easiest one for Loki to convince, and absolutely loved him in this episode. There's also another absolutely wild episode that ended in such an unsure way that you have no idea where the finale is going to end. It was an extremely satisfying watch, great follow-up to episode 4, and even though it was nothing I expected, I can't wait to watch the grand finale, well, yesterday, because I'm recording this super late. Anyways, did you guys like Loki's 5th episode as much as I did? We'll see you in the next one. Ben and Bev, out!